Hello everyone, my name is Nishi Mishra. I head the admissions of Jindal School of Liberal Arts and Humanities. Today I am here with Professor Dr. Upasana Mahanta, who is the Dean of Admissions and Outreach at Jindal Global University. And what are we talking today? We are talking about the newly launched program at Jindal School of Liberal Arts and Humanities. So Professor Upasana Mahanta, welcome.
Thank you very much, Nishi.
And my first question goes to you. Why do you think, given the current situation in India, sociology program has become one of the most important programs for students to pursue?
Well, yeah, that's a very good question. Sociology is, traditionally sociology was always looked at a discipline which was not a vocational discipline. Sociology was always looked at a discipline that, moves towards, say, social work and so on and so forth. But in the past few decades, the understanding of sociology itself has changed. And for that, perhaps we need to look at what is sociology, right? And at the heart of it, sociology stems from a curiosity about the world that we live in. And the world that we live in is increasingly becoming complex. And the solutions that we need to seek for the complex set of problems that the world throws at us must come from a sociological grounding. So if you, for example, say you're an engineer and you're a civil engineer trying to build a dam, right? But it's not about building the dam anymore. Right? It is also about who are the people, communities living in and around that area. What does building that dam mean for the ecosystem, for communities living in that area? What kind of relationship is shared between the two? Right? So sociology informs every other discipline that is there is to study. So I think therefore, particularly in the context of the world that we live in today, in the context of the pandemic, we have increasingly realized how our lives are interdependent. How what impacts me also impacts you. What impacts one corner of the world also impacts other corners of the world. And I think therefore the importance and significance of sociology as a discipline, and which goes beyond, understanding of it in the traditional, sense that has happened.
So coming down to my next question, which is erupted after the conversation that we had from the question 1. What do you think is the key feature of the sociology program that we have launched from Jindal School of Liberal Arts and Humanities?
Well, I think, see again, sociology is a discipline which is not a new discipline, right? It has been existing for a while. When we took the decision at Jindal Global University, particularly in the Jindal School of Liberal Arts and Humanities, which is a very well-established school. Many students every year, yearn to come and study at JSLH. And when we thought about conceptualizing this program and launching this undergrad degree in sociology, we were very conscious of the fact that it should not be a program that replicates every other, program that is currently existing. Not to undermine the good work that is being done in other institutions in terms of the discipline of sociology itself, we wanted to really focus on the aspect of applied sociology. Now, what is applied sociology? Applied sociology is not only focusing on the why aspects. It is not only focusing on the how aspect. It is also focusing on what for. Right. So applied sociology is more about being able to apply the learnings that is rooted in the discipline into the complex problems of the outside world. Right. So that is a key focus of the sociology program that has been launched at Jindal School of Liberal Arts and Humanities. So it is about the object and purpose of the program, but it is also about what can be done with the learnings that the program will equip the students with. So if you look at the program that is being launched at JSLH, the sociology program, it has 4 key pillars. Right? One is sociology of arts and creativity. Other is sociology of health, well-being and access. Third, sociology of innovation and technology. And fourth is sociology of environment. Right? So it is on these 4 pillars that the applied sociology program at Jindal School of Liberal Arts and Humanities is being built. and that's what makes it both unique and also something that prepares the learners to sort of get into the real world and started using these tools and skills that they learn through the program, start using them to sort of applied to the real world issues.
Thank you for explaining this very wonderfully, Professor Mahanta, and I'm sure the students will like the concepts that you have mentioned about the Sociology Honours program offered at Jindal School of Liberal Arts and Humanities. Coming down to my next question, given the fact that you have talked about the applied forms of sociology offered, what kind of the students are you looking to apply for this particular program?
Well, that's a great question actually, and often I know as students, and those of you who are watching this is particularly for you, you often wonder who should apply. Am I eligible to apply for this program? Would I be able to fit in? So what we are essentially looking for, the admission process, for example, that we have, is a very, very holistic admission process. We do not want to assess the student merely on the basis of, say, class 12 marks, right? So we would of course want a student who has successfully completed class 12. The student would then be required to take, once the application process is done, our own entrance examination test, which is JSLH, Jindal Scholastic Aptitude Test. We will also accept many other scores such as SAT scores or CUT scores will be accepted by us. On the basis of that, if the student qualifies, then he or she will have to undertake a personal interaction with the faculty. Our application process, the application form itself is quite holistic. It will have some questions that we ask through which we try and assess whether there is a genuine interest and aptitude that lies in the student to be able to pursue the course that is being offered. But at the heart of it, we also recognize that these are class 12 students. We don't want them to come knowing everything, otherwise what is our job? We would of course equip them to think critically, to be able to reflect critically on issues, to be able to write coherently, to be able to engage with the text. These are some of the skills that we try and equip our learners with throughout the process of all the courses that we teach. So we're looking for, at the heart of it, a curiosity to know, a commitment to knowledge, to be able to be open-minded, and to be able to do hard work, I think. I think if all of these qualities are there, then I'm sure that we are looking forward to having that person in our classrooms.
Wow. Thank you so much for explaining this, Professor, and I'm glad that the students will like this. One of the most important questions, which is often asked by students as well as parents, because you might be knowing about the fact that parents are also the stakeholders when they decide about the undergraduate degree programs when they are applying to universities. So the last question that I have for you is, what is the future of sociology program that you think that will help students to define the career opportunities?
Well, wow, of course. Great question. And again, I completely agree that this is a question that many students, parents, guardians and other stakeholders will have. I will try and respond to it in two ways. One, that as I've said earlier also, that sociology as a discipline has really become a discipline that is relevant to every other job. I gave you an example from engineering, and why you would need to have a sociological understanding. So it is relevant to every other job. That is one. Sociology is not only about an orientation towards, sociology is about an orientation to life. Right? So sociology as a discipline has a tremendous, also in the contemporary context and in the future, has tremendous relevance. Three is that, after doing an undergrad degree in sociology, what kind of possible career paths? One can go into social work. There are different kinds of sociology. We talked about the 4 pillars on which the applied sociology program at JSLH is rooted, but one can, for example, there is industrial sociology, right? So there is clinical sociology. There is the education field that one can go into. There is research that one can do, right? So there are multiple fields that one can enter. Having said that, I think, and I want all parents and prospective students who are watching us and listening to this to know that, see, an undergraduate degree is not a terminal degree, right? See, the students have done class 12. One is still exploring what is it that one is passionate about, what is it that one wants to do, in the future. So I think any undergrad degree that one does, one has to know that undergraduate degree is a field or a ground to be able to equip oneself with some critical skills. Whether it is a skill of critical thinking, it is a skill of problem solving, it is to be able to engage with the text in a critical manner, whether it is to be able to express oneself coherently, critically, analytically, right? These are a set of core skills that an undergraduate degree should empower a learner with. Right? The advantage of doing a program like sociology is that it is a truly interdisciplinary program. Right? For example, when we're speaking about the 4 programs, we talked about health, right? We talked about environment, right? So there are multiplicity of avenues in terms of what you can pursue after your undergrad degree that opens up when you do a undergrad degree in sociology. So when our students are thinking about doing an undergraduate program, doing an undergraduate degree in sociology, first, that it is a field, it is a truly interdisciplinary field. If they're thinking of doing it from a university like ours, which is Jindal Global University, we know that we truly value the interdisciplinarity that we bring into the context of our classroom. So this 3 years that they will devote to an undergraduate degree in sociology should be looked at as the 3 years that are dedicated to developing these sets of core skills rooted in the discipline of sociology, which will open up multiple avenues going forward. So I think to keep this in mind is very, very important while choosing this program.
Thank you, Professor Mahanta.
Thank you, Nishi. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you everyone who is watching this. I'm sure you might have got to know a lot about the curriculum, the pedagogy and the admissions process, and also about the future opportunities of the sociology program. Still, if you want to get in touch with us, please write back to us. Our details are available on the website. Thank you.